In this video, I'm going to show you why fast food is killing your joint recovery, why that ankle pain just won't go away, and how hidden additives torture cartilage meal after meal. I used to demolish a Whopper combo without a second thought. Friday night Domino's runs, Saturday morning Dunkin' stops, Sunday afternoon KFC buckets watching football. Sound familiar? But around my mid-30s, something shifted. My ankles would swell after pizza night. My shoulders ached more on mornings after takeout dinners. Sometimes I'd hobble to the bathroom like I was 80 years old, wondering what the hell was happening to my body. You've been there too, right? That moment when you realize your recovery time isn't what it used to be, when climbing stairs becomes a production, when your spouse starts commenting on how often you wince getting up from the couch. I spent 2 years thinking I needed better shoes, more stretching, maybe physical therapy. Tried glucosamine supplements, heating pads, and those copper bracelets my neighbor swore by. Nothing worked consistently. Then I stumbled across a research paper from Johns Hopkins that changed everything. It wasn't about exercise or supplements or aging. It was about how specific food additives trigger autoimmune responses that turn your body against its own joint tissue. That led me down a rabbit hole of industry documents, reformulation announcements, and regulatory rules that most people never read. What I discovered wasn't just disappointing. It was a system that made convenience the default, even when that default worked against how joints feel. For 30 years, while I was grabbing quick meals between work and family obligations, these companies were perfecting chemical formulations designed to create inflammation that never fully resolves. They've weaponized our food supply against our joints, counting on us never connecting the dots between Tuesday's lunch and Wednesday's limp. If you've been treating symptoms while the real cause sits in your refrigerator, if you're tired of masking pain instead of eliminating it, this investigation will show you exactly what's been happening and how to stop it. Because once you understand the biochemistry of joint destruction hiding in your favorite meals, you'll never look at fast food the same way again. You have felt the symptoms. Now see why they happen. What I am about to show you will change how you see every meal. These are not just foods that add empty calories. The way many chain items are cooked, formulated, and assembled makes it easier to overeat, gain weight, and increase the mechanical load your joints carry with every step. Picture a quiet little meter on your knees that rises with every bite when portions and sodium climb. That meter is real, and you feel it when you stand up. Start with cooking methods that brands themselves publicize. Burger King describes its patties as flame-grilled. Hear that sizzle? Picture that smoky stripe? Feel the crunch on the first bite. Flame grilling is a very high heat method that creates browning and char. Fried chicken chains, including KFC and others, describe pressure frying or deep frying to create a crisp coating quickly. The crunch you hear is not an accident. It is engineering. High heat and frying drive signature textures and flavors. They ride along with energy-dense builds, breadings, and rich sauces that raise total intake. Joint load meter up. The most consistent finding across nutrition science is straightforward. When people are presented with ultra-processed, highly palatable foods in large portions, they tend to eat more. Your brain says more, your hands follow, your joints do the math later. Over time, that adds body weight. More body weight multiplies force across the knee joint with each step, and that multiplied load is a clear physical stress your joints register. Joint load meter up again. Look at what the chains disclose in their own ingredient pages. McDonald's lists ingredients for core items, including sodium phosphates in some chicken products and processing aids used in frying oils within regulatory limits. Visualize that ingredient list screenshot on the screen for a moment. The company has also announced reformulations that reduce selected artificial preservatives in some burgers and moved quarter pounders to fresh beef in the United States. These are on the record. What this means for joints is that many builds can be both calorie-dense and sodium-heavy. Higher sodium contributes to water retention, and higher calorie intake adds body weight. Together, water retention and added mass increase joint load and perceived stiffness. Your knees do not care about the logo. They respond to load and water. KFC describes pressure-fried chicken and publishes ingredient lists that, for some items, include sodium phosphates in brines and coatings to help retain moisture. Picture that breading taking on oil in seconds. Formulas differ by country, and the brand posts regional lists so customers can see what is in market. Pressure frying and breaded coatings deliver taste and speed, but also energy density and sodium. If you trim portion size and choose simpler sides, you meaningfully reduce total calories and sodium, and that shift lowers next-day swelling and soreness for many people. Joint load meter down. Micro vignette. You order the smaller box, you swap the creamy side for greens, you drink water. Tomorrow your stairs do not bite back. Subway publishes ingredient lists for breads, meats, and sauces. Those lists commonly show stabilizers and thickeners in some deli meats, and Subway previously announced the removal of azodicarbonamide from its bread recipes. Nutrition pages show that popular builds can be high in sodium depending on size and toppings. Pull up your usual sub online and count how many sauces you add. Each sauce carries sodium. For joint comfort, the actionable move is to build sandwiches around simpler proteins, load vegetables, go light on sauces, and choose smaller sizes. That combination reduces sodium and calories, supports weight control, and lowers water retention that can make joints feel puffy. Joint load meter down. Domino's discloses that pepperoni is a cured meat with curing salts, and that cheeses use emulsifying salts, both standard practices in pizza manufacturing. Nutrition panels show that pizza can deliver high sodium per slice and per pie. Pizza is easy to overeat because it is energy-dense and highly palatable. The first slice whispers for a second, the second invites a third. Balance it with a large salad, choose a thinner crust, moderate cheese, and cured meats, and stop at fewer slices to reduce energy and sodium exposure without abandoning the meal entirely. Joint load meter down. Popeyes posts marinade components and fry oil types in public materials, with ingredient pages that list approved additives used for flavor and texture within regulatory limits. You can almost hear the basket hit the oil and the golden crust forming. Breaded fried chicken and starchy sides are both energy-dense and sodium-forward. When you choose grilled items where offered, swap in beans or greens, and skip extra sauces, you trim calories and sodium that would otherwise add to body weight and next-day stiffness. Joint load meter down. Same restaurant, different order. You enjoy your meal and wake up lighter on your feet. Wendy's states that its core burgers use fresh beef in the United States and lists nutrition and ingredient information for chicken sandwiches, chili, and other items. Depending on toppings and sides, meal sodium and calories can rise quickly. Small hinges swing big doors. A smaller sandwich, hold creamy sauces, add vegetables, and swap fries for a side salad. Your knees will thank you on the stairs. Joint load meter down. Arby's explains that its roast beef is cooked, chilled, and sliced, and it posts ingredient lists that disclose approved additives for texture and flavor. The slicer hums, the sandwich builds fast, and the sauces are where the sodium hides. Deli-style meats, paired with breads and sauces, can deliver substantial sodium in a single meal. Ask for sauces on the side, choose lighter breads where available, and pair with fiber-rich sides like salads or fruit to moderate sodium and energy without losing the core item. Joint load meter down. Jack in the Box and Church's Chicken publish ingredient and allergen lists that show common additives in coatings, breads, and sauces, alongside nutrition pages that highlight calories and sodium. Breaded fried offerings with creamy dressings and sugary beverages concentrate energy and salt. 2 paths. Simple build with a grilled protein, no sugary drink, smaller portion, feel better tomorrow. Or the full lot, creamy sauce, large drink, delicious in the moment and a heavier climb later. Your joints can tell which path you chose. Across chains, ingredient lists frequently include moisture retainers in poultry, curing salts in processed meats, stabilizers and thickeners in sauces and deli meats, and approved processing aids in frying oils. These disclosures are public and regulated. Regional differences are also public. The European Union and the United States both regulate additives and labeling, but requirements and benchmarks can differ. For example, the European Union has published mitigation guidance and benchmark levels to reduce acrylamide formation in certain foods, and both regions require clear ingredient labeling so consumers can see what is in products. Quick viewer challenge. The next time you order, tap the ingredient link and read the first 5 items. If the list runs long, keep the portion small and add something fresh on the side. That is how you win in the real world. The most consistent, evidence-based connections between eating patterns and joint symptoms come from 3 levers: Ultra-processed meals and highly palatable combinations tend to push calorie intake higher, leading to weight gain in many people. Added body weight increases compressive forces through the knee and hip with each step, which raises pain and fatigue in people with vulnerable joints. High sodium intake increases water retention in some individuals, which can make joints feel swollen and stiff. Translate that into action. Minimally processed foods, vegetables, lean proteins, gentler cooking like steaming and baking to a light color, smaller portions, lighter sauces. Do it for a few weeks and notice how your body responds. Joint load meter down. This is why two people can eat from the same menu and feel very different the next day. If one person keeps portions smaller, skips extra sauces, adds fiber-rich sides, drinks water, and balances higher energy items with lower energy choices, their total calories and sodium drop, and their joint load follows. If another person has a large breaded entree, creamy sides, sugary drink, and dessert, their total energy and sodium climb, and their joints pay for it the next day. The brands publish the ingredients and nutrition. Your body publishes the results in how you move. You do not have to abandon your favorites to protect your joints. You do have to be deliberate. Favor cooking methods that are lower heat. Choose grilled or baked over battered and fried when you can. Build meals around minimally processed proteins and vegetables. Watch sauces and dressings because they concentrate sodium and calories. Keep portions a little smaller and add fiber-rich sides to improve fullness. Simple refrain to remember: short list, gentle heat, smaller size. These are small, specific choices that reduce the daily load your joints carry and help you feel better within a few weeks. That is the quiet reveal behind the flame, the crunch, and the sauce. You have seen it on the plate. Let me show you what is really happening inside your joints when rich, salty, ultra-processed meals stack up week after week. This is not abstract theory. It shows up in how you climb stairs, how your knees feel the moment you stand, and how long morning stiffness hangs around. The clearest changes in real life do not happen in minutes after a single meal. They unfold over weeks and months as you change what you eat, how much you eat, how you move, and how you sleep. Symptoms usually improve before any scan would change. That is your body telling you the plan is working. Start with the simplest physics your joints know by heart. Every extra pound on your frame multiplies pressure through your knees with each step. You do not need a calculator to feel it. Thousands of steps each day means thousands of extra pushes into cartilage when weight creeps up. Ultra-processed, highly palatable meals make it easy to overshoot your energy needs without noticing. Large portions, fried coatings, creamy sauces, and sugary drinks are designed to be hard to stop eating. Over time, that pattern adds mass. More mass means more joint load. More joint load means more pain and faster fatigue in joints that are already irritated. Now layer in fluid shifts. High sodium intake pulls water into your tissues. Some people feel that as puffy fingers, a tight ring, or a face that looks fuller in the morning. Your knees feel it too. Extra tissue water increases stiffness and makes motion feel sticky. The fix is not an exotic detox. It is simply eating more meals built around minimally processed foods with lower sodium, drinking water, and letting your body shed the excess over a few days. Less water in your tissues and less mass on your frame together make your joints feel lighter, often within a few weeks of consistent change. Your joints live in a chemical neighborhood that you help build with every meal. On one side of the scale are signals that protect cartilage and keep your joint fluid slippery. Think antioxidant enzymes, heat shock proteins, and a healthy mix of fatty acids in the diet. On the other side are signals that push toward irritation, like frequent glucose spikes, poor sleep, and a steady stream of calorie-dense, low-fiber meals. The more your meals lean toward vegetables, legumes, whole grains, fruits, lean proteins, and healthy fats, the more that protective side of the scale wins. The more your meals lean toward fried, breaded, sugary, and salty with big portions, the more the irritating side takes over. Your knees report the balance every time you stand up. What about cooking methods? High heat and charring create those flavors that sell. Flame grilling, deep frying, and pressure frying deliver crunch and browning that are satisfying. Those methods can also form browning-related compounds in certain foods. You can lower exposure by favoring gentler heat and lighter browning at home, and by choosing grilled or baked items over battered and fried when you are out. The bigger win for joints is not chasing a single compound. It is keeping your total energy and sodium in a range that fits your life and activity. That is what moves the needle on load and stiffness in a way you can feel. Add movement to the picture. Muscle is your built-in shock absorber and stabilizer. When the muscles around your knees and hips are weak or deconditioned, more force lands on cartilage and ligaments that are already cranky. Over time, inactive muscles can collect fat between fibers and lose efficiency. The way back is not complicated. 2 or 3 days a week of strength work that targets quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, and hip abductors, plus balance and control drills, spreads the load across tissue that is designed to carry it. A few weeks of the right drills, plus walking or cycling most days, often make stairs feel normal again without asking your joints to do all the work alone. Younger adults are not immune. People with long-standing kneecap pain commonly show a stiff knee, reduced bend pattern that resembles what we see in knee osteoarthritis. Prior injuries and higher body weight make that more likely. The upside is that targeted strengthening and movement retraining can change the pattern in a matter of weeks. When you change how you move, you change what your joint surfaces see. That translates to less ache during the day and less stiffness when you get up. It helps to think in patterns rather than single meals. Here is a real-world pattern shift that delivers. Swap a few takeout lunches each week for simple home-cooked meals, built from a protein, a big pile of vegetables, and a whole grain. Cook with gentler heat and stop at a light golden color rather than dark. Keep sauces on the side and use less. Downsize portions a little and add fiber-rich sides so you feel full on fewer calories. Add 2 or 3 strength sessions for legs and hips, and pick a steady cardio you enjoy, like walking, cycling, or swimming. Sleep on a steady schedule. That is it. Over a few weeks, body weight nudges down, water retention calms, and the muscles that protect your joints wake up. Morning stiffness shortens. The ache after sitting eases. Stairs stop feeling like a test. No miracle, just a different pattern repeated long enough for your body to respond. You do not need to chase every additive on every label to feel better. Major chains disclose ingredients and nutrition for their items. You will see moisture retainers in poultry, curing salts in processed meats, stabilizers in sauces, and processing aids in frying oils, all within regulations. Those lists are useful, but your most powerful move is simpler. Choose shorter ingredient lists when you can. Choose gentler cooking. Choose smaller portions. Choose more vegetables and lean proteins. Choose water over sugary drinks. These choices lower calories and sodium automatically. That lowers mass and tissue water, that lowers joint load and stiffness. That is the chain of cause and effect that actually changes how you feel. Here is a picture you can carry into every meal. Imagine a small meter on your knees. When you pick a large breaded entree, creamy sides, and a sugary drink, that meter creeps up. When you pick a grilled protein, a pile of vegetables, a simple carb, and water, the meter eases down. Your joints do not know brand names. They know load and chemistry. They know whether you slept or scrolled. They know whether your muscles helped or sat the day out. Give them a pattern they can win with, and they reward you quickly. If you want a single refrain to remember, use this. Short lists, gentle heat, smaller size. Build most meals that way, most days, and let the rest take care of itself. You do not need perfection to get relief. You need enough good days to tip the balance. The first reward is how you feel in the morning. The next reward is how easily you take the stairs. Keep stacking those wins, and you will remember what it felt like when your joints were not running your day. And that is what really infuriates me. It has become easy to eat in ways that work against your joints, while everyone shrugs and calls it normal aging. The industry is not retreating. It keeps delivering food that is craveable, consistent, and convenient at scale. That often means high heat cooking for flavor, formulations with starches, stabilizers, curing salts, and moisture retainers, and large default portions. None of this is hidden. Companies publish ingredient lists and nutrition pages. The effect is simple. More calories and more sodium day after day, creeping weight, more water held in tissues, and more load across your knees. McDonald's posts detailed ingredient lists and nutrition information. Core chicken items list sodium phosphates for moisture retention. Frying oils list processing aids within regulatory limits. McDonald's has also publicized reformulations that reduced selected artificial preservatives in some burgers and moved quarter pounders to fresh beef in the United States. Energy-dense builds and sodium-heavy meals raise body weight and water retention over time. Your knees feel that as added load and stiffness. Burger King highlights flame grilling. That is very high-heat cooking that creates browning and char. Burger King publishes ingredients and nutrition for breads, sauces, and proteins with disclosed additives. The combination of high-heat cooking, large sandwiches, and sauced sides makes it easy to overshoot energy needs. More mass means more pressure through the knee with each step. KFC describes pressure-fried chicken. Ingredient lists show brines and coatings that include sodium phosphates for moisture retention in some products. The brand posts regional lists because formulas differ by country. Pressure-fried, breaded chicken with rich sides is energy-dense and often sodium-forward. Smaller boxes, simpler sides, and water reduce calories and sodium enough for your joints to notice. Subway provides ingredient lists for breads, deli meats, and sauces, and previously announced removal of azodicarbonamide from bread. Nutrition calculators show popular builds can run high in sodium when you stack sauces and cured meats. Shorter breads, simpler proteins, more vegetables, and lighter sauce trim sodium and energy without losing convenience. Domino's discloses that pepperoni is a cured meat with curing salts, and that cheeses use emulsifying salts, both standard in pizza manufacturing. Nutrition panels show many pies run high in sodium per slice and per pie. Pizza is easy to overeat because it is energy-dense and designed to share. Thinner crust, more vegetables, fewer cured meats, a salad on the side, and fewer slices preserve the experience and spare your joints. Popeyes lists marinade components and fry oil types, with ingredient pages that show approved additives for flavor and texture. Golden breading and hot oil deliver the crunch people seek. They also concentrate calories and sodium. Grilled options where offered, beans or greens instead of creamy sides, and smaller portions help you wake up with less stiffness. Wendy's highlights fresh beef for core burgers in the United States, and publishes nutrition and ingredients for chicken sandwiches, chili, and sides. Depending on build, sodium and calories can climb fast. A smaller burger, fewer sauces, vegetable sides, and water instead of sugary drinks drop totals to a level your knees appreciate. Arby's explains that its roast beef is cooked, chilled, and sliced, and posts ingredient lists that disclose approved additives for texture and flavor. Deli meat, bread, and sauce add up on sodium. Ask for sauces on the side and add a fiber-rich side so you stay full without pushing salt and energy into the red. Jack in the Box and Church's Chicken publish ingredient and allergen lists and provide nutrition pages that highlight calories and sodium. Breaded and fried proteins, creamy dressings, and sweet beverages deliver the taste profile that sells and concentrate energy and salt. Choose a grilled option where available, keep sauces light, skip the sugary drink, and right-size the portion. Your knees will tell you you made a better choice. Grocers and cafes with health halos still use processed inputs. Whole Foods Market discloses ingredients on packaged items. Some frozen meals, sauces, and dressings contain thickeners and stabilizers common across the industry. That does not make them off limits. It means you still read the label. Shorter lists, simpler recipes, and reasonable sodium help your joints whether the package is earth-toned or fluorescent. Panera, Chipotle, and Sweetgreen publish ingredients and nutrition and speak about their standards. Dressings and sauces from any brand can run long on ingredients and high on sodium. Sour cream is a simple dairy product, while some dressings or toppings may include thickeners or stabilizers depending on formulation. The joint-friendly move is consistent. More greens and lean proteins, lighter dressing, fewer salt-forward add-ons. Protein bars and shakes are convenient and can be highly processed and energy-dense, with sweeteners, stabilizers, and flavor systems disclosed on labels. Some are simple, many are not. If you use them, pick shorter lists and fit them into your day so total calories do not creep up and add load to your knees. School and hospital food service operate at scale with cost and safety constraints. District menus and vendor specs are often public. Breaded proteins, refined grains, and sauced items show up because they are consistent and predictable. Families can pack meals sometimes or teach kids to choose simpler options in the line. Hospital teams can make the easy choice the healthy choice when they can. Lower sodium, simpler builds, and more whole foods help people feel better, including their joints. Regions. regulate labeling and additives differently. The European Union and the United States both require ingredient disclosure. The European Union has guidance and benchmark levels intended to reduce acrylamide formation in certain foods, and specific rules around some colors and additives. Details vary, but your playbook does not. Prefers shorter ingredient lists, gentler cooking, and smaller portions. Those steps lower energy and sodium and reduce exposure regardless of your country. You will see brands list different ingredients across countries. That reflects suppliers, recipes, and regulations. It does not change the fundamentals. Joints respond to the total load you place on them and to how much water your tissues are holding. If you consistently choose meals that dial down energy and sodium while dialing up minimally processed foods and gentler cooking, your joints respond in kind. Here is the bottom line. Companies show you the ingredients and the numbers. High-heat cooking and processed builds create the tastes people crave. Large defaults and layered sauces push intake higher. If you eat that way most days, body weight edges up and sodium helps you hold water. That multiplies pressure across your knees with each step and makes your joints feel thick and slow. Flip the defaults and the reverse happens. Your plate gets simpler, your cooking gets lighter, your portions get modest, and your drinks get less sweet. You carry less mass and less water into each step. Your joints move freer, and your mornings stop feeling like a fight. You have more control than it feels like, especially when you turn better choices into your default. The quickest way to change how your joints feel is to change the default you repeat most days, not to chase perfection. Begin by softening the heat and simplifying the build. When you order, picture how the food is made. If it arrives very charred or dripping from a fryer, it likely brings big portions and a lot of salt along for the ride. Ask for a lighter cook and less sauce. Let vegetables take up real space on the plate. Drink water. Nothing dramatic, just enough to keep energy and sodium from creeping up without you noticing. At counters where you eat often, your power is in the routine. Choose the versions that read simply on the menu and in the ingredient link. Shorter lists usually mean fewer hidden add-ons and less salt. Smaller sizes feel unglamorous in the moment and pay you back the next morning when the stairs feel normal. At home, make gentle heat your habit. A pot simmering on the stove, a sheet pan in the oven, a skillet that stops at a light golden color will carry you far. Cook a protein, pile on vegetables, add a simple starch, season at the end. If the fridge has a few anchors ready to go, you will not need willpower at the end of the day. A bowl of beans, some cooked grains, washed greens, eggs, yogurt, or a piece of fish turns into dinner in minutes without leaning on heavy sauces. Use food to support the system rather than to perform magic. Fish, greens, berries, olive oil, nuts, seeds, and warm spices fit easily into ordinary meals and help lower the background noise. They are not a replacement for care if you need it. They are the wind at your back. Give yourself a way to tell if it is working without turning your life into a spreadsheet. Each morning, take a second to notice pain, how long stiffness hangs around, and whether stairs are easier or harder than last week. Step on a scale under the same conditions once a week. If the pattern is right, your body will tell you in a few weeks, and you will not need anyone else to interpret it. Think ahead to the moments that usually trip you. If late nights end with a drive-thru, keep one fast, decent option in the fridge. If weekends pull you toward big plates, split one, order vegetables first, and leave sauces on the side. If sweets are the thing that tips you over, save them for after a real meal and let a smaller portion be enough. You do not need to announce that you are changing everything. You only need to repeat a quieter set of choices most days. Lighter cooking, simpler meals, a little less sauce, a little more produce, a portion that ends while you still feel good. Do that long enough for your joints to notice, and they will reward you with shorter stiffness, easier stairs, and a body that feels like yours again. Your joints have been screaming at you for years. They are waiting on your decision. Every ache after fast food, every morning stiffness, every creak that did not used to be there, that is not just aging. That is the pattern you are repeating. You have seen the evidence. You know what these foods do. The question is not whether you can heal by changing what you eat. People do it every day. The question is, are you going to keep feeding your destruction or start fueling your recovery? Your joints have waited long enough. What are you going to choose?